Welcome everyone. Welcome to Canada. Welcome to Montreal. We are at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix in Zoom Racing League. We're in Division 4. This is round 11 of 12, and we have some great racing action because it is raining at the moment. So maybe some very exciting wet action. I don't know if we'll carry on to the race, but it looks very treacherous out there for these drivers tonight. And I'm here in the booth with Ethan Patel right now. Very well known person. And just how's it going, Ethan Patel?
It's going great. Looking forward to an amazing race in Division 4. We've been treated to a nice few races, but we have a short grid today, and it's in Canada with a lot of rain for at least qualifying. Don't know how it'll shake out for the actual race. We don't have any sort of weather forecast for that. Championship standings, we have not been upgraded or not been updated since Austria. But we do have Christian Cummins in the lead, I believe. I don't remember last race. I haven't been following with the season, but it's been an amazing season for Red Bull and D4. Getting 1-2s. But Ferrari not too far behind, and NVA is a really good driver. Just needing a little more help from Aaron there to maybe drive Ferrari into the constructors fight. But for the drivers' championship, NVA is very much a threat to Christian Cummins in the lead.
Yeah, so something I just noticed, I hadn't changed it because the race weekend hasn't started for me at least this weekend, but I guess it'll be a little bit more exciting because we have V8s instead of V6s normally, and we'll hop on board with the Ferrari just to get a little sound. I'm sorry for that, but we'll have the Ferrari on board for his first lap in the intermediate conditions in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
So Canada's an interesting track, right? How do you feel about the rain? I feel like there are some drivers that genuinely think this track is better in the rain, because it rains so often, and we've had some insane races, not just in real life, but also in ZRL. I mean, I this is not to brag or anything, but my only win here was a rain in Canada. And speaking of winners at Canada, Heisler, Josh Barnsley, he will be terrible for the whole season, for lack of better words. He might have a rough season. He'll turn it on in Canada. He'll be insane. He's won multiple times here, and he's definitely a driver to look out for this weekend. It's his home Grand Prix, so see what he can do here.
I mean, a very fast driver in Division 3, Season 4, all the long time ago, won his home Grand Prix in amazing fashion over me. Of course, I believe he was 12 seconds ahead at the end of the race, so hopefully he'll have that same pace that he did all those days ago. And it looks like maybe we have a Ferrari, a little bit going on with Ferrari here. Is it Aaron Green who's invalidated his lap in maybe one of the final few corners as the first lap was set is by Hetrosy in the Mercedes 122.767, and right behind him, about 1 second behind actually, is Mr. Hokage Rodi. He is on a 123.7 at the moment. So maybe that's just indicative of his pace, but NVA has gone a second quicker, even more than a second quicker than Hetrosy 121.099. There's a Red Bull around in Sector 1, no damage to the Red Bull. But NVA, provisional pole so far. It looks like it had actually been Buffalo Trace, Josh Barnsley's teammate, around in the later stages of Sector 2. No damage once again, but it's just very tricky conditions for all these drivers to just keep it on track. I mean, lots of high-speed corners and lots of ones where you really have to get on the power very quickly to get your best exit that you can onto these big straights here. And that will cost you if you spin in the rain, of course, more in the race than qualifying. But right now, all you want to do is just set a fast lap, use as much battery as you need to, and maybe even go on for multiple laps at a time.
I know. Yeah. It's getting faster and faster, and that's how the rain works. You don't really wanna. You kind of want to get a feel. Oh, as Christian Cummins has a little bit of a moment. But you wanna get a little bit of a feel for the track because you know it's gonna get better at the end because it just keeps. The track is ever evolving, especially.
I mean, of course, as Christian Cummins comes to the line now, what will it be for, I believe, our championship leader? He is only third fastest in the session so far. However, that was his first lap. I think we can expect a lot more from him. I wonder if he is going for a lap right now, actually, because in the rain, if you don't use too much of your battery on your first lap, you can actually just keep on doing laps here. It looks like his battery's off, so I don't think that he'll be going on another lap until this next one.
Yeah, also, depending on the weather forecast for the rain, I would love to know like if drivers are using a rain setup, if they're using a dry setup, because it could be interesting to say the least. Driving this track in a dry setup with it raining, traction zones. I mean, that's all there really is to Canada. It's 3 chicanes, then a hairpin, and that's your whole track. So you're definitely gonna need traction, and that's something that you don't want to be on the wrong setup for.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it can be wet in qualifying, but it can be bone dry in the race. So it really depends on where you want to be in terms of this race, because obviously you could do a wet setup and be very fast in qualifying, or you could think about the longer run in the race, of course, and have a better dry setup. But really, it all comes down to what your pace is with the car. I mean, of course, if you have a good setup for either, but you're still not comfortable with it, then what's the point? Right now, at the moment, very comfortable, is Gibbs in P1, the AlphaTauri, and putting him up a very nice lap with 10 minutes left to go in the session.
And sadly, these laps won't really matter. And that's again with the track evolution. It's just gonna be interesting to see who can time it right, who can be on the track at the best possible time. Is it like you could even see it now? Like the rain is getting very,
Oh.
very light. As you're on board with NVA there, ain't you?
I'm with Ben actually, who spun in the hairpin, actually quite far away from the hairpin. I wonder if he just couldn't really handle the car, like a lot of wheel spin, and just kept on going and finally laid it to rest there. But
Yeah,
yeah.
seeing a lot of drivers struggle. This is our lowest division. Not saying these guys are bad at the game, just saying they're learning, they're getting better, and the rain is definitely something you want to master pretty early on in your racing career. So you just have a good stepping stone for it. And learning the rain at Canada is probably the best track to learn the rain at.
I mean, I'm trying to look on board with these cameras here. I wonder if the rain is still pouring down, and it is, but I still wonder if with 9 minutes left in this session, will it even be close to dry conditions, or will it just be lighter rain and be able to go faster? Because at the
I think
moment, let's go ahead.
I think it'll stop raining. It's just sprinkling now, really. I think it'll stop raining, but the track will still be wet, and going on softs will be a huge risk that might not really have any benefit towards the teams. But who knows? Some drivers like to try the risky strategy, and maybe there could be a point where the soft tire is viable and could go faster than the inters on this track.
Yeah, I mean, actually a very similar quali session that we had to in the real race last year in 2022 Canadian Grand Prix. In qualifying, it was kind of like this actually, just these exact conditions. And at the end, people were wondering if they could go onto the dry tires, and George Russell did go onto the dry tires. However, it did not pay off for him. He did not go any faster than he thought and ended up giving Haas a 5-6 on the grid. So that means that maybe it'll either be the same, or, like we can see on board with Buffalo Trace right now, the rain has stopped. But, like you said, actually, hold on, it looks like,
I believe it is still going.
yeah, I mean, a few points in the circuit might be raining, but a few might not be, because as he was going down the pit straight, there was no rain whatsoever on his screen. But now, once he's going through these corners, it is still raining, so,
NVA.
yeah, NVA, 8 tenths.
Tense. Jinx, by the way, you owe me a soda. That was a great lap, and it's just gonna keep getting better. So I'm excited for this qualifying session. Who do you have for pole position? Who do you think's gonna grab it?
Well, I'm going to go on board with him. It's Mr. NVA who's on pole right now. I mean, like, he's had a bit of a comeback, or he's at least trying to complete one, because he was missing a few races in the middle of the season, and now he's really looking to fight and maybe even try to get this championship back, and getting pole tonight would be a great way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for NVA to be fighting Christian towards the end. Obviously it's the end of the championship. I don't know what the point difference is because I don't have an updating standing sheet for Division 4, but from what I have in Austria and what I saw at Imola, it should be pretty close between the two. And I know NVA, there's been a little bit of banter going on between the two. You British folks can tell me if I use that word right. They've been not. NBA's told Christian he's giving it his all for the last two races to try to win this championship, and Christian's not backing down either. So it'll be interesting to see if he can come out on top and if NBA can claw back his small gap that he's lost.
I mean, just a bit of banter is good enough for Zoom Racing League, but I wonder if Gibbs, the faster man earlier, will be able to take back his fastest lap, and he does by exactly 1/10 of a second from NVA in the Ferrari. Does he have a bit of a rival, and not who we think it is this time? I mean,
Yep.
yeah, go ahead.
Gibbs, the Portuguese dude that's been here a while, has always shown flashes of talent for sure. Never been your fastest guy, always been a clean driver. He's put it on provisional pole. Obviously, track will get faster, but that's the second time he's been on provisional pole this session. So maybe he could put that AlphaTauri into P1 for the start of the race.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he has enough battery for even to just go out on this next lap on the same set of tires, and that will actually, I don't know if that will hurt him or help him with 5 minutes left to go into the session. Maybe he'll do one more lap and then come back in the pits and then do one final great run, or maybe he'll come into the pits now. I don't know, but Aaron Green actually just had a great lap.
Yeah. You definitely want to try to go into the pits as soon as possible. So if you're not doing a great lap right now, I would definitely just dive in and get ready for your final run. Yeah, that's what Buffalo Trace does, as he invalidated his lap.
I mean, it was a great lap from Aaron Green actually, so he'll come into the pit shortly, I believe, and Gibbs actually stayed out, so I wonder if he will be going on a hot lap. The provisional pole man thinks he has more to get in this session.
I think this might be a mistake. As Keisler, Joshua Barnsley provisional pole by another second. The track is ramping up heavily. It's not raining anymore. It could be drying. There could be a chance for softs. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a driver go onto softs at the end. Track is still damp though. But Gibbs, I don't know if this is the right call. You want to go into the pits. Maybe he dives it in this lap. I hope he doesn't continue it, because he might not have a chance to be on the best track possible, which is what you want to do in a wet qualifying.
Ooh, as he looks like he's almost just invalidated. As what?
NVA is doing the same thing. He's coming out now. Don't know if these guys have engineers or are being told that they should not be out right now on track. They need to be in the pits or on the in lap to get into the pits, as Arrow goes provisional pole, but the track is only getting drier.
3 minutes left of the session, about 1 minute and 30 seconds that you need to go out on the track. I don't know if that will be enough time for the track to completely dry up for one final lap of soft tires, but I think Josh Barnsley is coming into the pits, and maybe he knows something that we don't, as Gibbs goes back on provisional pole. He's been fast all night, and he's still fast, 1:18.9, 2/10 clear of P2, and I think that we have a treat of qualifying session.
If you're looking at the track right now, you're telling me that's not okay, maybe for a soft tire run? Obviously, you won't be like up to complete pace in terms of dry weather running. But you'll gain some pace on these inter cars. And for a guy that's like towards the bottom, maybe like a Hetrasy or a Hokage Roadie or even a Buffalo Trace, do you risk the soft tires?
I mean,
as we see Christian Cummins on a soft tire right now, NVA may have screwed this up. Can this be a Christian Cummins pole?
I mean, absolutely. I think if you're in a low position, then it's very, very valid to go on a run for dry laps. And it looks like everyone right now in the pits is actually... Christian Cummins has gone back onto the intermediate tire, interestingly enough.
He might be checking softs through it. Nope, he's come out. No, that's his teammate Hutsy, who is on the inters. But
Christian is on the soft tires.
Yeah. Christian is on the soft tires. So Kage Roadie on the soft tires. Buffalo Trace and Kaganus are on the soft tire. So This could be the most interesting qualifying session and demonstrating the importance of staying out to the or staying in the pits until the very end.
I mean, people I think we can take out of quali right now, or at least they won't be able to go any faster like Florida has. I think we can take out Aaron Green because he's invalidated his lap, and once he gets into the pits, he will not have enough time to switch on a set of soft tires. Ben goes fastest with a 1:18.6, but that time is about to be absolutely destroyed by a soft tire runner, at least I would imagine. And it looks like our first soft tire runner might be Caganis here, unless someone else has gotten out ahead of him. But people like, Buffalo Trace, I don't want to say that he's not the fastest driver. I mean, he's a very respectable man, but, sometimes lacking the pace. But with soft tires and with all these drivers ahead of him, maybe not being able to set laps with this completely dry track now, can Buffalo Trace maybe go?
Yeah, he could definitely put himself on the podium position to start. The first guy on the soft tire will be Christian Cummings as he comes around the hairpin here, but NVA, while you were talking there, went nearly 2 seconds, and DRS is enabled. That means the track is dry. That means the track is ready for soft tires, and this just flipped the whole qualifying session on its head. Gibbs is on the out lap. He won't have enough time to get it, so it'll be between Christian Cummins, Hokage Rody, Buffalo Trace, and Caganis for pole position here, and it's going to be vital not to invalidate this lap. If they invalidate it, they've just screwed up an easy potential top 4 start as Christian Cummins navigates through turn 1 and turn 2. He had a little bit of a moment, but he's looking good now, and these tires should be very well suited for this track compared to the Inters, and he's going so much faster than they are.
I mean, I do have to say real quick, sorry, Buffalo Trace is out of this fight because he's still in the pits, but I'll let you keep going with this explosive commentary on Christian Cummins' lap.
Christian Cummins, DRS open, going down as NVA goes 3 seconds faster than P2, but he's still on the Inters. How fast can Christian Cummins go? Or will he invalidate? Will he hit the wall of champions? It's coming up. So we have the hairpin right here. Christian, it's important to get on the throttle early, goes a little wide, gets on the traction, gets a nice run down into the final 2 turns. As qualifying, the checkered flag has been waved. It's going to be Christian Cummings down to the final 2 turns. This is where the lap is made as Josh Barnsley takes provisional pole. Christian Cummings to the chicane, nails it, gets as close to the wall of champions as possible, and this is going to be provisional pole, but who can do it next? That's going to be a 1:12.4, 2 seconds faster than Keisler. As Hokage Rody next across the line, he can't improve, and it's Caganis that takes pole.
I mean, what a great lap by the Williams driver. I mean, I was on board with him through the Wall of Champions. He just looked so much more confident, so much faster, and he was that much faster. It looks like 5/10 in that lap. But thankfully, for our home hero, on the intermediate tires, he went fastest on the intermediate tires, and it's put him P3 for his home race. As I believe someone has jumped the charts just a little bit, but it wasn't enough to get them anywhere close to the top 4. And VA, someone who we thought would be making a comeback against Christian Cummins tonight, is 2 places behind him.
Well, he's still starting on the second row, and he'll have a nice chance to run down into turn 1. Someone you have to feel bad for, Hokage Rody. He did exactly what you can't do, which is mess up that lap that you had on the soft tires, where you potentially have a pretty easy top 3. We'll see what they can all do. I don't know if the race is dry or wet, so stay tuned for that. But what an interesting qualifying session, and definitely gonna look to see this Christian Cummins and NVA battle, as they will start right, or NVA will start right behind Christian Cummins.
I mean, I've seen many great starts from the line on Canada in this track, and hopefully it'll be the same for our 2 championship contenders. I mean, of course, drivers like Caganis, even our man on pole, will not be able to challenge for this title whatsoever because he is a reserve driver. But he has challenged the field today with a great time of 1:11.893. 5.88 tenths quicker than Christian Cummins, our championship leader, has been at least dethroned on the grid so far, and it was by a great Caganis. And then our home hero, Josh Barnsley, in P3, NVA in P4. Jamal, I don't really know who that is, but he's P5. Hudsey in P5. Then we have Ben P6, Arrow P7, Florida P8, and Gibbs is P9. But right now, we go to the race. We see what the conditions will be. Will it be wet? Will it be dry? Who knows? But hopefully, or for our home hero and for everyone around him, it will be easy to navigate. Hopefully, we have no crashes, no safety car. It is very easy to get a safety car because of the close walls. Nothing keeping you away from the track. And let's
Yeah.
see what a sunny day it is here in Canada.
Yeah, for such an interesting quali, it's a shame because honestly, at this track, it doesn't really matter. This is arguably one of the most racy tracks on the calendar, especially with I believe what, 3 DRS zones if I'm correct. 2, just a lot of straights, chicanes, and one hairpin. So you're gonna have a lot of overtaking opportunities and a lot of chances to make up the positions. I believe I won Season 2, Division 2 from P16, so anything is possible. We've seen winners from all over the place in tracks like this and Monza, so it'll be interesting to see what these guys lower down the grid can do, and I definitely wouldn't count out NVA, who's only right behind Christian.
Yeah, I mean, for this race in a dry condition situation, I think everyone here, at least in the top 5, are starting on the medium tires. Here come the lights: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and the lights will go out right now for Kaganist to get his great run into turn 1. Does he get a great run? Does Christian Cummins? No, he doesn't. On the hard tires, both of them. Looks like actually Josh Barnsley has stayed in his position. I thought he had maybe made an overtake. Arrow up 2 positions. A bit of contact in the back between an Aston Martin Ferrari and an AlphaTauri. What is happening
A lot
in
of
here?
fighting in the back.
Oh,
We almost had a 3
incident.
wide as there's an incident in the back as Hetracy's into the wall. Interesting to see what happened there. I couldn't really catch it. I saw there was a lot of fighting, and interestingly enough, Gibbs, who didn't go on the soft tires for qualifying, is on the soft tires for the race, as I believe Jamal Leo Hudsey fell down a lot of positions. Everyone on the hards besides Florida and Gibbs, and it's going to be a race to settle in. Everyone is within DRS besides Buffalo Trace and Hetracy, so when that is activated, hopefully we have a nice DRS train like F1 Esports, as we have Arrow going around the outside at the hairpin. No, he gets pushed off a little bit, but Aaron goes wide, and which might allow Arrow. Why do both of these guys have to have similar sounding names? Arrow might have the run into the final chicane. It's not really a place for overtaking. He tries to go down the outside. He's gonna hold it. They're gonna go too wide. No, Aaron backs out, and Arrow takes a position as Aaron is into the wall, and Arrow has a moment as well. That is a very hard corner to overtake at, and they're still fighting going into turn 1, but Ben is invited into this fight, and Ben has a look down the inside, thinks better of it, as NVA, actually that wasn't Aaron, that was NVA that he was fighting with, so NVA takes P4, and I believe there might have been a small incident there that forced Arrow to cede that position, but everyone's going to try to settle in now and stick into DRS range.
I mean, I just got on board with it. I'm happy I did so. But Gibbs making his soft tires work, going around the outside in turn 3, actually. So great overtake from the Portuguese man. Who is that around? That is Hudsey. Hudsey around. I don't think he has wing damage, does he? But he's been overtaken by Buffalo Trace. Now Hetracy into the pits for wing damage and some medium tires.
Yeah, you hate to see Hudsey around. He's had he's had a pretty good season. He was the 11th pick for Red Bull. Wasn't really expected to do much. Won the first round in Brazil, and then I believe he also won in France and Imola. I remember Imola. So he's won 3 races. He's had really good results. Obviously, that 1-2 with his teammate Christian at France. Definitely an amazing season, and he's going to want to finish it out strong for Red Bull as DRS is enabled. And speaking of Hudsey, he has an amazing run on Buffalo Trace. He really had no chance of fighting for that position, but they will go too wide into turn 1, and Hudsey takes that position. He's going to be looking back. Oh, and he gets a little squirrely. He's definitely struggling tonight. One driver we should probably focus on is Gibbs on the soft tires. He needs to make those tires work, and he needs to start building a gap. And speaking of gaps, NVA is 2 seconds back off of the leaders. This could play huge into Christian's advantage, but Christian also loses DRS on Cagnes.
And our first time penalty, actually our second time penalty, is for Arrow. A man very highly placed and expected to do well as he goes very deep into this hairpin, hits a wall a little bit. Will he get the exit that he needs to make this overtake happen? It does not look like it is so, but Josh Barnsley, our home hero, has made it past Christian Cummins into this even before the chicane happens, and he's looking for this win here.
Who Arrow is he maybe a little nervous right now? He's getting a little wayward. And while we were talking, apparently Joshua Barnsley got past Christian and is now chasing down Cagnus. I don't want to jinx it, but Josh Barnsley is looking really good here, and I hope he could get Cagnus. Obviously, you don't want to be biased as a broadcaster, but just for Canada, this guy is one of the cleanest drivers I've ever raced against, and I would love for him to have another win in Zero.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely deserving of another win in Zoom Racing League, and his second win would actually be his second home win, and that's like just ever actually. 2 home wins and 2 wins in general is just a great accomplishment to have, especially when it's in front of your home crowd. I mean, Josh Barnsley, he's been going very fast, almost going into the back of the Williams actually. He's really pushing this Williams along. Going into gear 1 for the hairpin and getting on the power pretty early. I wonder if he has some traction control involved, but no judgment, as it doesn't look like he'll have the run that he needs, as it looks like someone is around.
Is that a Ferrari?
No, it's an Alpine.
That's an Alpine of Ben. It doesn't look like anything's wrong, so I think he'll just tuck in behind Hokage and try to make up this position. But speaking of Josh Barnsley, he's a very, I would say, traditional driver. He likes to use the lower gears. He likes to drive it how you drove like F1 2020. It's not worked too well in this game, but he knows how to control it, and in this division, he's definitely very competitive. As there's another yellow flag, it's gonna be for Okage Roldy and Hetrasy. Hetrasy very much struggling.
Ooh.
Joined the season late.
I don't know what just happened there, but it looks like Ben got it past Aaron Green in a position where you don't normally overtake in between turns 3 and 4. So great job from the Alpine driver to make up these positions. 3 seconds, now 4 seconds behind the rest of the pack, but he can hold off. Actually, he gets a time penalty that will not help him against his fight with Aaron Green, and we look to now Arrow, the closest man on track to another driver. I think he just went deep in the hairpin, so he will not have the exit that he needs, but not the once in this second straight here. As Hetrasy has actually DNF'd, he's retired from the session. Will not be a safety car or anything special like that, but retiring from the session in Mercedes, as that been Tudsy around actually. I believe this is the second incident this race so far, but not what you want to see for the Red Bull driver.
And Mercedes, who's had a lot of changes in their structure, obviously a lot of their team leaving. Hetrasy was brought in by the original team principal Thermo, who's no longer around the Mercedes garage. He's still in Zoom Racing League.
Oh, as the overtake from Josh Barnsley through a corner where Cagnus just went a bit wide. He's into the lead of the race with DRS. His home hero has finally made the pass that we've all been waiting for the lead of the race, as actually Arrow gets past Gibbs. Gibbs' tires are going off just a bit too early now for him. He'll have to pit again unless he gets a great exit, but he does not. Will Cagnus be able to fight back for his lead of the race that he wanted so badly? Christian.
Cagnus went a little wide into that hairpin. Obviously got a better exit, but Christian almost had to look down his inside. As Cagnus is already blinking on the battery, could this be Joshua Barnsley's chance to build a gap to the 2 cars behind and really cement his chance at a win? Obviously, we don't know what could happen later in the race. There could be a safety to the car, there could not be, but this could be a chance to blow the race wide open for him if Christian gets stuck behind Cagnus.
I mean, yes, of course, but, you know, the battery advantage is not one that Josh Barnsley has right now. He's actually below the battery that Cagnus has, and that means that they are both blinking on the battery, both under 10%. I don't know if it'll just be enough on pure pace alone for Josh Barnsley to clear Cagnus of 1 second, but if it is, that'll be crucial for his place later on in this race, because of course Christian Cummins, a fighting driver, he'll be looking for this P2 at least, if not the win itself.
And speaking of drivers looking for the win, NVA is still not within that DRS gap. He did put in a little bit of a... he lost it all there. He's put in a decent lap, but he's also out of battery as well. Christian, I think, actually the leader in terms of battery, but goes a little wide into the hairpin. It's not as compromising as you would think. Obviously, you don't want to go wide into a corner, but you do get a chance at a better exit. So you kind of make up for it down the straight, especially with the ERS advantage. If he's able to, he's going to want to clear these cars as fast as possible, build a gap to NVA and hope these guys hold up NVA if possible. But this track is pretty easy to defend with if you have a little bit of battery and if you're running a top speed setup. As Gibbs dives it into the pits, the only soft runner, he's gonna dive in for the hards probably, yeah, and he's gonna have to try to take those 20 laps. No, not 20 laps. I'm bad at math.
Yeah, I don't know if the hard tires will be able to take that task. I mean, of course, as the car gets lighter with fuel, it will have less load on the tires, but 27 laps is a big accomplishment.
Roadie's around.
Yes, he is. I believe this is not his first time coming around in this race so far, but, he's doing his best. He's still in the top 10, so hopefully that will stay unless Gibbs can get some heat into the tires very quickly here.
And Hokage Roadie, a driver that's had a pretty consistent season. He's at the top 10 or just about. Man, the gap at the top is building.
Gibbs is around, actually.
Yeah, this will be on the cold hards. But Hokage Roadie, he looked really promising coming into Brazil. I remember we were doing a few Brazil practice sessions, and I'm like, this dude really turned it up. I believe he's getting some help from the likes of Big Mama Frank, who helped me transition onto a wheel. So I don't know. I was looking for a great season from him. He's had a good season, but struggling here. Still in the top 10 though.
I mean, speaking of a driver who thought would do well this race, and I think he is doing well now. I think I can read the situation here with NBA. So of course we've seen that he's actually gained a lot of time through this lap. But if we go on board with him, actually, I believe that he is actually running a very high downforce setup because he's losing a lot of time in the straights. Obviously, you could put that down to maybe just the DRS advantage for the cars ahead. But I think he was like 1.7 seconds about 2 laps ago. Now he's chopped down 6/10 on these drivers ahead of him. And let's see Christian Cummins on board with here because he's gotten very deep and almost hitting the drivers ahead of him almost twice now into this hairpin. Does he do the same? No, but he does take a bit of an interesting line.
He's struggled with this hairpin all race and he's just not done it right, which has allowed Cagnes to hold on to the position. He needs to get past Cagnes as soon as possible and try to catch up to Josh Barnsley. He's not going to be able to get it here, but a good run through the chicane could do it for him, but it's not going to happen. I don't think. He needs to, he's doing good the whole lap and he's able to keep with Cagnes. It's on the last stretch of the lap. Once he gets to the hairpin, he kind of just struggles. And it is a hard corner, but you have to make it work. Because Josh Barnsley in front has already built a 2-second lead and it's only going to grow from here.
Guess who's finally joined into this fight for the top podium positions? It's NVA, finally within a second. We've been looking to see it all race long as what?
Not really in the fight as he has a time penalty, but Arrow has also joined this fight. So all of these guys really fast in this division, really competitive. It's literally Christian 1, NVA 2, and Arrow 3 in the championship as of Austria. It could have changed, I honestly don't know. But no, all of these guys super fast, super strong, and the fact that Josh Barnsley is away for them shows his pace as Christian once again goes too wide into the chicane, or too deep, my bad. But I know he needs to make the position as soon as possible as Cagnes is slowing down on the straight. No, it's just Christian using all his battery to get past at the chicane.
Oh no!
And he gets tapped. He gets tapped by Cagnes, and he's gonna have to turn the car around. He resets the track. That can't be good.
Oh no! What has happened with NBA?
NVA's also had a moment.
No wing on the Ferrari.
That is no wing. So Christian, who had gotten tapped, doesn't break his wing, and NVA does break his wing, and that's unfortunate. I didn't see what happened, but it looked like he got tapped, and he's gonna lose a lot of time here now.
And it was with our Mercedes man. Arrow has also lost his wing on that straight. I saw almost what happened. I believe that it just slammed into NVA on the straight, and it sent him right into the wall. And actually, Aaron Green, the other Ferrari, both Ferraris not really having a great time, but what a huge moment in this race, because now Cagnes, no wing damage, is 2.7 seconds and it will keep going down, and he's so clear of all these drivers right now. And someone who's this kind of help is actually Florida. He's had all these drivers ahead of him, got into silly incidents, and now maybe he'll be able to challenge for maybe even a podium position. At the moment, our home hero 3.6 seconds ahead of the driver who can challenge him, and his gap is growing.
Yeah, this man just turns it up at Canada, and you could say there's been some instance of luck, but he had the 2 second gap. Though this just helped further his lead as NBA has to dive it into the pits, and I wonder what he's gonna have to do on strategy. Maybe if he has two mediums, he could go on a double medium. But that's super heartbreaking for the Ferrari driver. Obviously, we want a close championship fight, and it was honestly crazy how the race just got turned upside down in an instant. Like, we literally talked about 4 guys fighting for P2, and then it all just went away, and now there's huge gaps between them as NVA straps on a set of mediums, and we'll try to run it as long as possible, probably, and then strap on another set of mediums or maybe softs if he doesn't have another set.
I mean, what a wild moment, just a few laps, and like even with 13 cars now, I mean, that still doesn't take away any action very, very clearly. But now I think we'll have to look at Florida for all the action now, but I think his tires will die out sooner or later. I mean, 11 laps, I think they maybe have, let's see, probably around 16 laps in them, so 5 more laps for the medium tires. But at the same time, drivers like Christian Cummins, Kakinus, and Josh Barnsley, they're all kind of on their own pace right now because they're kind of in no man's land, each one of them. And right now, actually, has Kakinus closed up to Josh Barnsley quite a lot.
Yeah, Cagnus actually has battery in his car, and Josh Barnsley doesn't. I believe it was like 3 seconds last lap, and now it's down to 2. But Christian is also building gap as there's a spinner in the back. Is that going to be Buffalo Trace? I think so. But what a wild few laps. Obviously, we hope that the top can kind of regroup and put together a fight in this race, as there's no cars within a few tenths of each other. I think the closest car is Aaron to Florida, who just pit, actually. Wait, did Florida pit onto another set of mediums?
He did. Interesting. Is he going?
He's running a 2-stop.
Ooh.
Don't necessarily know if that's gonna work in this game. And honestly, I didn't see a reason for it. He built, because of all the incidents and all the stuff that happened, he built such a huge gap to the cars behind because of all of their spins that he could have probably just strapped on the hard tires, ran to the end, and kept P5. Very aggressive strategy from the AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, and I wonder if his tires are so cold because Aaron Green is very, very close behind, now kind of falling back as he didn't get an exit that he wanted for this run. But he'll maybe be able to stick within the DRS of Florida himself. But time penalty for Florida, for Ben, for quite a few people, including Arrow, Gibbs, and Buffalo Trace. All penalties. Arrow actually with 6 penalties. I wonder if one of those was for having a severe collision with NVA. We'll go on board with NVA right now. He's on medium tires. Now he will guaranteed have to go into a 2-stop, starting with the hard tires and having to pit so unluckily onto the medium tires. I mean, he was challenging for a win, arguably. I think he could have had that if that just didn't happen, but you know, things happen on the racing track.
Yeah, no, I think that whole pack honestly could have probably caught up to Josh Barnsley with a little bit of coordination. Obviously we like close races, and now we kind of got stripped of one because of the incidents, all of which will be looked at by the stewards, and we'll see what happened there. Honestly, I'm not really sure how that all unfolded, because it's like one thing right after another. But the sad news for NVA, at least in my opinion, previous games, I haven't done much practice here in this game, but Canada is a very tire wear heavy track, right? You have so many traction zones that you need the rear tires, so there's no real way I think he's going to be able to save these tires enough to manage stay out towards the end. Running at a reasonable pace, I think if he runs really slow, he could probably get it. Speaking of NVA, he's getting closer to his teammate, and I believe there should be some team orders to try to get NVA in front as fast as possible.
I believe...
As Christian at the front has put in another second towards Cagnus, and Cagnus is still steady with Kaiser, so Josh Barnsley running at a reasonable pace compared to the guys behind him. He's still looking good for a potential win. Obviously, I think Cagnus and potentially Christian could compete with him, but it'll be a tall order from both of those drivers. And Ben up into P4, kind of just sneak through all the carnage, and he was around earlier, and then now all these other cars got into incidents. Now he's P4 as Gibbs into the pits again. They're coming out the pits now.
Yeah, I mean, so at the moment, NVA has already cleared his teammate by 2 seconds, actually, after team orders had happened in turns 2 and 3, in between that little straight that they have. And now that's kind of let Arrow into the place where he needs to make an overtake on Aaron Green. I mean, last time we saw a Mercedes and a Ferrari on this straight, it did not end well, but 5/10s very much quicker through the wall of champion chicane. And I wonder if that will help him make a run, maybe into turn 1, as we see. But I think NVA on these medium tires, he just needs to go as fast as he can. Like, he's gonna have to pit anyways, so just maximize the medium stint, just go as fast as you can.
And the Ferrari pit wall should definitely be telling him to push like hell and give it your all, because this race it could very much change around. It could be a safety car that benefits NVA. Maybe there's a safety car towards the end of the race, everyone goes on soft tires, and he's right back in the fight. So you should never give up, especially when you're in the championship fight, and you just give it your all every single minute of the race.
I mean, so we see now that Arrow has closed up very closely to Aaron Green, almost tries to scare Aaron Green into a little defensive move into the hairpin. Pretty equal exits onto the battery now for Arrow. Going to get the DRS. It's going to be a very, very easy move for the Mercedes. He's got 6 seconds of time penalties, but it doesn't matter. He'll go as fast as he can, whether he's penalized or not.
An interesting move from Aaron not to defend that. Maybe he's aware that Arrow has that time penalty. He's going to try to stick with it, but he's already lost a second gap, so see how that plays out. In the front, is that another second for Christian and another 3 tenths for Cagnes? So they are getting closer, and we can see them potentially being in the fight towards the pit lane phase, which will be super important, getting the undercut on one another, and also getting those mediums up to temp properly and setting in fast laps as soon as possible. But this race can start heating up. It's going to be a little bit like the quali session. It's going to get spicy towards the end.
I mean, hopefully we're about the halfway mark of this race, but some things that I've noticed from a certain few drivers here. So Aaron Green, I mean, we'll go on board with him for this, of course, but in the champion chicane, arguably a place where you can lose so much time. He's been doing exactly that. I mean, already 2.6 seconds, and if we see what happens here, I mean, I think from what I saw last lap, that's kind of what's been losing him time. He lost around 7/10 last lap, so we'll see how he takes this. I mean, he's carrying enough speed, but I mean, I think obviously it could be more. He's lost 3/10 just within those few couple corners right there. NVA finally into DRS on Florida. I mean, 3 seconds, he's got all the gap that he needs to just be in P5 at the moment, but he will have to pit again, so he will want to clear the AlphaTauri as fast as he can.
And the gap at the front still just chipping down a little by little, and kind of want to tell Josh Barnsley to start pushing here, as he has a little bit of a moment coming out of the hairpin. Loses a lot of time on the traction, and Cagnes is about to be within DRS zone. He's only 3/10 off. Now Josh really needs to push or go into the pits. I believe it's about, no. Yeah, I think you still got like 2 laps of pit stop time. I wonder how these drivers are doing on warnings. Speaking of, as Hokage rolled, he gets a 3-second time penalty. Warnings are super important at Canada, always have been. It's very easy to get a 3-second time penalty, and that could definitely impact the race. But Christian and Cagnes are almost about to be in DRS zone of each other, as long as Josh Barnsley. So this is going to become a 3-way fight for the lead, as Josh Barnsley has a moment to the wall. I don't think he has a broken wing, but he's definitely going slowly now, and Josh Barnsley has to let both cars through. It's not what you want from the hometown hero. Maybe just got a little bit nervous there. But now Cagnes is into the lead. Christian Cummins a second and a half back, with Kaiser half a second behind him. So this race is still very much on, but for Josh Barnsley, that has to be a little bit gut-wrenching, considering you've given it your all. You've gotten a little bit lucky. You've made the most of your situation, and now you've lost both positions. You still have a chance but who knows if you can really get that lead back. And it's all going to be down to the pit stops here. Who can undercut who?
I mean, I don't think Christian Cummins needs an undercut here because look at the pace difference between the Williams and the Red Bull. I mean, it's gone down, I think, about 3/10 from the start of this lap. I think we're not looking at Kaganus winning here. I think we might be looking at even Josh Barnsley, but especially Christian Cummins. I mean, 8/10 still within the two. Our home hero, I mean, he's got all of the confidence he needs now. He's maybe lost a little after that little bit of shunt, but he's got no weak damage. He's completely fine as will NBA make a move on Florida. It doesn't look like he will, so we'll go back to the front here. All within DRS of each other. Now Christian Cummins actually gaining 5/10 in Sector 1 itself, so maybe this is significant that Christian Cummins can win this race still. He's got the battery advantage by almost 30%.
And to talk about your undercutting, I think it will be crucial for Christian. Remember, Christian was stuck behind Cagney for the longest time ever because he simply couldn't make the move stick. And the last time they were side by side with each other, it ended up with Christian around. He certainly does not want that right now, so he's going to try to make this move in the pit stops maybe, or if he's brave enough, he's going to try to send us. He has a moment, and he hits the wall. That could be a broken wing, and he gets a 3-second time penalty. To add insult to the injury. That's not a good move. That's a rookie mistake right there, as that's going to allow NVA, the guy that we said is completely out of this fight right here with Christian. He's completely back in it. I think Christian's wing should be fine considering he didn't go into the pit lane. NVA might have to pit again, but he's even closer to Christian than we thought he would be. And now it's just a two-man fight between Joshua Barnsley and Cagney. So who knows how this race can end up, but it's looking real good for both of those drivers.
Yeah, so here we are with Josh Barnsley. He's made up quite a bit of time through Sector 1, but he's lost it all out of the second chicane here. I mean, very, very crucial that Josh Barnsley gets a move on here, because how else will he win his home Grand Prix unless something happens, maybe in the pit stops? I mean, very, very unlikely that you would lose time in a pit stop, just mess up pressing a button on time, but anything could happen. Anything can happen in racing, and that's exactly what we want to see if we want to see Josh Barnsley win this race. Actually,
yes, Josh Barnsley is still struggling. He has a bit of a moment through the hairpin. Maybe time to come in for a new set of tires.
Yes. So with the Aston Martin driver of Hokage Rody, I think this is the first indication of the laps that we will be having pit stops here.
Josh Barnsley dives it into the pit lane, gets the stop perfectly. I think that was a great pit stop entry there. Gonna be seeing, he's gonna go to the medium tires. What will Christian do? Christian turns in for another lap and gonna try to overcut. Cagney might be left out stranded here for a little bit. We'll see if Josh Barnsley could get this undercut done. As he'll come out in a little bit of traffic, but not too much. He will be behind Arrow, who is a very aggressive defensive driver. He comes out.
He'll be ahead.
Right in front. Yeah, right in front, which is, I think, crucial. But who knows? Arrow could have a move.
He has another time penalty.
Another 3-second time penalty. Yeah, and Arrow is looking very aggressive here. So it's going to be up to Joshua Barnsley to get the move on and try to avoid Arrow sending it down his inside. As Arrow, DRS open for move where you just don't do a move there, and that's going to lose Josh Barnsley so much time as Arrow backs out because he knows that move was illegal. Josh Barnsley is out of battery. He's going to want to close up to NVA. NVA has good pace, so if he's able to, as Arrow has a bit of a moment there as well. Just very aggressive driving from Arrow. Not saying that's a bad thing, that's just his driving style. That's how he prefers to race. He wants to race everyone and anyone, regardless of the situation of the race.
As you were saying, that NVA has made it past Florida finally, as actually Christian Cummins into the pits here.
And Arrow has the run on Josh Barnsley. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. Arrow goes a little deep around the outside, but gets it down the inside of turn 2. And Josh Barnsley is losing a lot of time from this fighting. This is something he doesn't want, and may have been a reason why Cagney stayed out longer to avoid a fight in this middle pack.
I mean, Cagney now around 19 seconds ahead of Josh Barnsley. I think with this very short pit lane and the short exit, I think that he'll have a great chance at winning this race now. We'll see if he comes into the pits as he's going down the second straight now, going down into the final chicane, or will it be straight on into the pit lane here? We will see. Lap 23, 12 laps to go. Medium tires, it will be perfect for 12 laps. Does he go into the pits? He has all the time that he needs, and he does. Into the pits, not going to get a speeding penalty. He's not going to risk anything because he doesn't have to risk anything. Ben in P2 also coming into the pit. Will NVA maybe pit with all these drivers here to just maintain its position, because it's a very easy decision to make, as is that Gibbs around.
Cagnus goes on the soft tires. Cagnus is on the soft tires.
Ooh, hold on.
That might have been a strategic blunder. We'll see what happens. I don't know how long the soft tires last around here, but I couldn't imagine it last well for 11 laps, as he's also going to be under pressure from Arrow. Arrow playing a major factor in this race. Yeah, Arrow's going to have
Look at the run here. Will he?
He's definitely going to go for it. Oh, he actually backs out. We'll definitely have a chance on the next corner. As speaking of position,
Does go for the run on the run outside. Oh, he gets squeezed into the wall. Both cutting the track here. Will Josh Barnsley be able to have a through goes Hamilton moment? He's seen the race leader. Will he go around the outside into this hairpin? He won't have the advantage that he needs. He's going around the outside. Will he try to stick it? Will he try to go for the switchback? And he does into this second straight here on the DRS, on the battery. He'll have all the tools that he needs to make this overtake happen into this world champion chicane, but he's way too far back now. However, Kagan is on the soft tires. Will they be able to last into the last lap? Josh Barnsley has finally cleared Arrow. But I think actually before that, even with the traffic that Arrow did offer, he made that overcut work. He gained 5/10 through that overcut. This is going to be undercut, sorry, very crucial to how this race ends, because we have NVA, unless somehow he'll pull an absolute magic trick out of his hat and make these tires stay until the end of the race, then we are looking at a great battle for the lead of the race with our home hero involved.
And if you're Josh Barnsley, you have to be saying, I need to stick with Cagnus. His tires will wear out, but I need to get away from these cars behind me. You do not want Arrow behind you. He's a mad Frenchman. He will go for any move possible, and it's honestly one of the things I love about him. Sometimes a little dangerous, but sometimes he pulls off unworldly overtakes that you just love to see. But Josh Barnsley does not want that in his race. But it's going to be a task to try to keep him behind while also keeping decent pace. So he's more than a second back. And Josh Barnsley is looking really good, because I do not think these soft tires will last long enough to where Cagnus will be able to keep up with Josh Barnsley at the end of this race.
I mean,
and the fact that Josh is keeping up with Cagnus right now on these tires just means this pace is going to escalate, and Josh Barnsley is just going to get even faster throughout this race compared to Cactus.
So two drivers on similar strategies right now. I mean, Arrow and NVA. I mean, I think if Arrow stays out in these next couple of laps, then we can expect the same from NVA. And that will be crucial in this fight, actually, because obviously NVA is a lot slower. He's lost a second last lap. But I wonder if he does stay out and try to stay out, will he get in the way of this great battle that we are seeing? Look how close these two are. I mean, Josh Barnsley is just waiting for these soft tires to drop off. They're going to have lots of life in them right now. But crucially, Josh Barnsley has stayed with the Williams driver. And will he be able to capitalize on a very great opportunity to win this race, this home race, the second win?
And I hope Josh Barnsley's always been a great driver in terms of race and race management. I hope he realizes all he needs to do is stick with them. Don't burn your ERS unless you absolutely need to for the DRS. Just stick with them, let his tires die out, and just go through for the win. And the crazy thing is, Cagnus and Josh Barnsley are the only two without time penalties in this race. Saying earlier that this track is easy to get the 3-second time penalty. Every single driver besides them two have gotten it, and which could play crucial in this race. And also for both of these drivers, it's going to be about avoiding that 3-second time penalty, because if you get it, then the other guy is going to just kind of chill behind you and not push the limits of the track. I mean, they are closing up to NVA here, and that could help Cagnus. Cagnus could use the little dose of DRS from NVA, but it'll be a matter of how long NVA could keep it on track. He still has 7 more laps to go on these medium tires, who are getting close to the point where um, 15 laps is what these guys are hoping to do on these mediums, and NBA has kind of already done those 15 laps.
Yeah, so here we go. NVA, I mean, he's got all the tires that he does not need to have to
Because
win
Arrow
this
is
battle.
around.
Arrow's around. So that will be crucial actually for Josh Barnsley, just a big weight off of Josh Barnsley's chest. And now, crucially, Cagnes has gotten into the DRS gap of NVA. Will this help enough? I think it will, but I think if NVA maybe just wants to be a bit of a menace here, will he come into the pits in these next couple of laps just to take away that DRS advantage that Cagnes needs so much to stay in this fight? But actually dropping back a little bit, Josh Barnsley, I mean, I think he's going very quickly into these corners, but hasn't gotten the exit out of them that he needs to. I mean, we've seen him not really being able to overtake through the main overtaking spots because he's gotten a pretty bad exit. But look at the run that he's getting through all these fast-flowing corners.
We're talking about NVA. I don't think he's gonna come into the pits. I think he's gonna try to ride this out. His tires will die off, but look at his gap to Christian Cummins, right? 7 seconds. That's his championship rival. He could still, after breaking his wing, he can still finish ahead of Christian, who obviously had that moment, but it was all his own fault at that, at least for the second one. So, yeah, NBA could just look to stay out. Maybe, I don't know if he's going to try to interfere too much with this fight. Obviously, he's going to want to try to get the race win, but I don't think it's going to be really possible here. If you're Josh Barnsley, now's kind of the time you want to get around Cagnes, because now you could use NBA to get the DRS.
I mean, I think even more crucial is NVA will soon get DRS if the slap car ahead of him stays, and it doesn't look like he will for long, but unless he's just having a bad lap, this will be a very great battle between all three of these drivers, because DRS is the most crucial thing for overtakes in this track, maybe in all of F1. But what we need right now.
That's Gibbs up front. He's typically a driver that'll let you buy on blue flags. It doesn't look like he's doing so right now. Maybe the next corner. He's typically not one to hold people up or give people DRS for no reason.
Yes, actually gave NVA DRS here, but he does get out of the way for all of these drivers. But look how close Josh Barnsley is just able to hold within Cagnes's here, and I wonder, will this be very crucial? Because if maybe Cagnes goes for a move on NVA, maybe Josh Barnsley will be able to follow him through, and then the battle will continue through all of these last few laps. Here we have about 6 more laps to go here, as actually NVA goes a bit wide. Will that help him on his exit? It will, but the DRS for Cagnes, will this be enough? Will this be the overtake that we've all been waiting for? It looks like he's going onto the battery now. Look at how that gap is going. He's alongside now. NVA going down the inside into the championship gain. Will they make contact? No. But now Josh Barnsley is very, very much looking to see if he can get past NVA, but he can't.
That's kind of like what I was thinking when you said would Josh Barnsley be able to get through on NVA. NVA is a really safe driver. He's aware of what's happening in the race, and he's not gonna look to like fight it
he's
too
in a moment though.
As he has a bit of a moment to still let Josh Barnsley through. This will be crucial for the race. Josh Barnsley does get through, and now he's gonna be on the back of Cagnes. It's gonna be a 5-lap shootout. Cagnes on 6-lap old softs. They're gonna be 11 laps old once the race is over, and I genuinely do not think those tires will last. Kaiser, Josh Barnsley on 8 laps medium tires. They will be on 13-lap old tires by the end of the race. Hometown hero, he has a chance at victory. He smells the blood in the water. Will he be able to get to the win? It's gonna be close, but I think he'll do it with the tire advantage. And you really have to think Cagnes played a big strategical blunder going for those soft tires. You wonder if he actually selected those tires or if it was one of those things Codemasters did where it gave him the soft tires.
I mean, at this point, I don't know if it matters because Cagnes still has that straight line speed that he really needs. I believe he's been on the battery every time he's gone on the straight so far, and that's really helping him stay ahead. So if he can make the overtake, that's simply it. Whether his tires are done, Cagnes, or they're perfectly fine. It's just whether he can keep his car wide enough through these corners. Will he be able to stop?
These tires will get exponentially worse is the problem though. They're only halfway right through the race end, a little more than halfway now. He's not gonna, at the end of the race, he's not gonna have a good exit through that hairpin, and that's gonna probably prove crucial for the overtake. But if you're Josh, you want to get the position done in like a weird area. You want to make an arrow-like move, like right here, right? And you want to make it cleanly, of course. And you want to offset Cactus, right? He's not going to be able to catch up to you. And look, that's the grip advantage that we're talking about with Kaiser. Look how close he's able to get onto the back of Cactus. Will he have... He doesn't have to look down the inside of the hairpin, but Cactus goes wide. Josh Barnsley is side by side. No, Cactus is able to get through, but Josh Barnsley he doesn't stay on the battery right now. He is, again, just staying patient, staying behind Cactus. But he still might have the run anyways because Cactus is out of battery. Cactus defends the inside. Josh Barnsley takes a lot of the curve. I wonder if that's the corner cut. Josh Barnsley, may he have a look down into turn one. He has a look, backs out. Still 1 and 2 right here. NVA has kind of been brought back into the fight. I don't think he'll really have a chance since he's on 20 lap mode mediums. But Cactus, very defensive through that last chicane.
I mean, I think I know exactly what Josh Barnsley is knowing. He knows that he has this incredible tire advantage over Cagnes, and if he can just wait for Cagnes to maybe have a moment here, he won't even have to waste time here with him. But he's very... Oh no, he spun around!
No, he spun it! And that's going to allow Christian Cummins to go through and Ben. And that's one of those things where some drivers do really well just letting the driver in front make the mistakes. But some drivers, when they're behind someone, they get a little nervous. The moment gets too big for them, and that definitely happened there. Speaking of drivers, in the big moments, Christian in P3 now, worked his way to recovery drive with a lot of drivers spinning in front. One of the things I will say, Cagnes got into an incident with Christian. It was the reason he was spun around the first time. You have to wonder if Cagnes gets reported, does that mean a potential NVA win after having a broken wing? And is it raining? It's raining.
Is it really?
And it's getting very slippery. It is raining. Look on track.
Oh my, it's raining.
It is sprinkling.
Absolute scenes in here at Gilles Villeneuve Circuit. And now, actually, if we go back onto the tire details here, it's NVA and Cagnes both on very much struggling tires, but Dr. So Good, Christian Cummins himself, has made up 1 second and 1 lap. This could be a three-way battle for the win of here, but of course it's going to take a lot from Cagnes' tires to even just start to fold. And with wet conditions now, this is going to be very terrible for every driver here.
If you're Christian Cummins, you have to be on the limit knowing, Cagnes was the guy that, I won't say in my opinion because I didn't really see it, but potentially took you out earlier in the race, could have a time penalty coming his way, and NVA on struggling tires, you just gained 9/10 on in 1 lap. Does Christian maybe smell blood in the water, and can he get a chance at victory after having an abysmal race?
I mean, absolute, everything is happening right now. Everything that we've wanted to see in a race is happening right now. But right now, out of 1 second is NVA on Cagnes. A penalty for both drivers, NVA and Christian Cummins. But it looks like they're on the same amount of penalties. So Dr. So Good, Christian Cummins will have to clear NVA on track if he even wants a P2 here. Cagnes doesn't really have anything to worry about because even if NVA does overtake him, then he will still have to clear him by 3 seconds. But with the spin, maybe, from Cagnes, with these wet conditions, with these almost puncture territory tires, maybe that could just happen. We've got 2 more laps to go. There's only, I believe it's maybe 17 more corners until the race is done. But right now, it's all up to Cagnes. If NVA can just not be able, and actually Christian Cummins into the DRS of NVA, 1.7 seconds, the gap in between Cagnes and Christian Cummins. Will it still be a race win for Christian Cummins himself?
It's going to be about getting past NVA because I genuinely think getting past Cagnes will happen because of maybe a post-race penalty. We'll see, but Christian is going to need to not do that on the exit. He's going to need a good exit the next time around, and there might not even be DRS next time, so who knows? Christian is very much going to be looking to try to get this at least P2 potential race win.
Yes, and on to the final lap now. It's Cagnes, NVA, Christian Cummins, and maybe even Ben if something crazy happens. But Josh Barnsley still within P4 range with the penalties that Ben does have. But right now, we look to the top 3. Will anything happen here? I mean, of course, Josh Barnsley is, pretty far back. I said the wrong name there, but I'll make it work. Christian Cummins is maybe in a position to make things happen as Ben has gone around into the wall.
As NVA has a moment, and
Christian Cummins makes
goes
it
through. And he's going to get on the battery. he has DRS. He's gonna get past NVA. That's his championship rival. He's just overtaken his championship rival going into the last race of the season, the penultimate race of the season. Next week will be an interesting one, but for now we focus on this race as Christian is looking like he is on the move in these slightly wet conditions with better tires.
I mean,
And could that have been what Cagnes was thinking? Did he go up to the softs expecting an inter later in the race?
I know I'm just so focused on what's going to happen with these final few corners, maybe on track, but no, Cagnes will win this race on track. DRS finally disabled, but Cagnes in the Williams driver will win this race. Dr. So Good,
And
Christian
no,
Cummins. What
no,
happened?
Kaiser got a 3-second time penalty at the end of the race. He could have gotten the podium off of NVA. NVA had a 3-second time penalty, and Kaiser got one at the very last moment, and he was only 2 seconds back on NVA. And he has to be kicking himself for that mistake. Not only costing him the win earlier, but this one costing him the podium at his home Grand Prix. But what a showing from him, and what a showing from Cagnes, Christian, and NVA to put up an amazing fight. Obviously, a lot of incidents happened here. I wonder what will happen with the stewards. But, I mean, well, Canada always provides, man. Crazy race. This race had everything.
I mean, yeah, just had all the racing action that we've ever wanted to see in a Formula 1 race. I mean, even the most real Formula 1 races that could happen, even if they decided championships, I don't know if they've ever been exciting as this 13 cars, that they don't even need this extra 7 to make all the action happen that we want to see. Great driving from everyone, maybe a few incidents, maybe a few low shunts, but that is alright. We've been here to see it, we've been here to see it all. Final car coming to the line now, it's Hudsey, and finally, the race is over. And great performance by everyone here.
Yeah, what an interesting performance. Obviously, in the constructors battle, a little weird. A lot of the first drivers did okay, did pretty well. The second drivers kind of fumbled the bag through the grid. But what a race for the drivers' championship. Obviously, going into the final round at Jeddah. I don't know how the constructors standings or the drivers standings will shake out because we haven't had it updated since Austria. But this will be an interesting title fight to watch, as it has been all season long. Both drivers doing so well, and we're gonna go ahead and get them in for interviews as soon as possible.
Yeah, but let's just watch the podium celebration. 3 drivers have earned the spot that they have gotten on the podium. I mean, maybe a few post-race penalties that will decide maybe the winner of this race, Christian Cummins' lead of the championship. But right now, it doesn't matter. All these drivers very happy to be in the podium places, and here is the order for the race. We have Cagnes in the Williams, taking his, I believe it's his 3rd or 2nd win now, and then Christian Cummins, our championship leader, now in P2. In this race, of course. NVA P3, Josh Barnsley, the home hero, had a very unlucky mistake where it could have been the race win for him all along, but he did get a penalty at the end of the race, so I wonder if that would have stuck. Anyway, P4 for Josh Barnsley, P5 for Florida AlphaTauri driver. He didn't really go onto the radar at all today, but great showing from him. Ben in the Alpine P6, Arrow in the P7 position. He had maybe potential to be on podium, but he did not make it happen. Then we have Aaron Green, P8, Hokage Rodi, P9, Hudsey, P10, Gibbs, 11th, and Buffalo Trace and Hetchersley ran out the final 2. So, we will get these interviews going here. We just wait for this race session to end. But I'm kind of excited to see what these drivers have to say, because a very drama-filled race. I'm very excited to what can happen. Maybe some shade thrown, but you know, whatever happens, it's racing at the end of the day. I'll switch us over to the interview screen now. We will go here, as it looks like the game is still playing audio, but that's I guess all right. So we will get our drivers into the booth here. First off, we have, who was it? Is it NVA, right? P3?
Yeah, it's gonna be NVA and P3.
Alright. Welcome, NVA.
75.
Oh, that's loud. Sorry about that. Welcome, NVA, to the booth. How was your race?
A mess, to sum it up. But, I mean, I had a good recovery. A little sad to lose the position right at the last lap there, but my tires were at like 74% by the end, so not much more I could have given it.
Yeah, so with this championship kind of coming to a close here in this next final round, do you think that you still have a chance to maybe challenge it? We haven't seen the driver standings whatsoever, so we don't know what the situation is there. But with Christian Cummins ahead of you on track today, do you think that's going to slow you down at all for this next race?
I mean, it's gonna need a long shot and a prayer for me to win this thing at this point. Christian's had a hell of a back half of the season, so congrats to him for sure. And just a couple unlucky races for me these past two with the game crash last race and then the actual crash this race. So
Yeah,
a
no,
couple mistakes we could have fixed up, but
speaking of this race, ooh, I know I saw you with the broken wing. I couldn't really see what happened, but the race kind of just like turned around in a flash, right? You saw Christian have that spin. I don't know if you were in front or behind him at the moment, but you're probably thinking, okay, my championship rival goes, and then the next corner, you're basically taken out of this race. So can you just walk us through what happened there? Or?
yeah, I mean, I think it was, someone tried to make a move. I don't know who it was into that last chicane, which
Arrow.
caused, I think, Cognis and was it Arrow?
Oh wait, no. So
I
making a move.
missed. I think it was Congus and Christian.
Yeah.
It's a bit fuzzy, and they kind of had an accident, and then it was just a bit of a referee join that forced me into the wall, kind of right after that wall of champions, and then I got hit again and just completely lost my wing. So I don't know. I'll submit it to the stewards, and that's as much as I can probably say on that.
Yeah, so what happened? I believe so. It was Arrow on your left side going down the final straight, and they just made a huge contact, you and Arrow. I mean, on the straight, do you think that maybe be a desync issue if he's like moving around very frantically on the straight? I mean, obviously this game hasn't been best with these disconnection issues, but if that is the case, do you think that maybe it will affect your position at all?
I think Arrow finished behind me, so it probably won't affect my position at all. But he was, he was lagging around a little bit. But it is what it is. Not much anyone can do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah, so, it's been a tough few races for you for sure, and we hope to see you. I mean, have a chance at the championship. I don't really know how possible it is, but you've had a hell of a season and a great first season on your wheel. I believe, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. Super happy to finish third here, especially after the start. Big shout out to Peter. He was helping me with the engineering from that. But yeah, it was a really fun season. I wish I could have made a few more races, but life just got busy, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, I don't really have much else to say. Nathan, you have anything?
Nothing else here, but thanks for driving for a Ferrari this season. Yeah, great job today, and yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for the broadcast. Hope you have a good rest of your night, day, whatever time it is for you guys.
You too.
All right, so P2 in this race, I believe it was Christian Cummins. Of course, it was because our man Christian Cummins is in the booth with us tonight. P2 after a very, very interesting race. Sum it up for us,
Yeah.
Christian.
It was going pretty good. I felt pretty strong, and then the incident with Cagnes. I mean, in my opinion, that was his fault. I had the line, and he turned into me like he took his normal line. He said it might have been desync, but that kind of just threw us all around and caused a big kind of just mess up on the track. But yeah, after that, I felt like I clutched up pretty good, and I had a few spins, but felt pretty good.
I mean, yeah, so interesting race with all what happened, but you gotta have that mentality that you maybe have a chance at winning this race all the time. With your 3 second time penalty actually, so it was actually recorded when you went off and had that little spin. Do you think you'll get that removed or maybe not?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get that removed
Yeah, so
for sure.
of course that incident with Kaganus might give him a time penalty because at least from what I saw, he was completely at fault for it. So maybe you're in championship contention with maybe a potential win this race. I mean, we asked NVA earlier about it. I mean, of course, it's going to take a long shot for him to win the championship still, but are you just looking at it from the same perspective you have all the season?
Yeah, just keep trying to win. It's fun battling with NBA. Like, I feel like we're just out there on the track, just kind of battling with each other right now. So he spins, and I'm like, yeah, and then I spin. He's probably happy. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, great job tonight. We'll let you go here, but yeah, thanks for being in the booth with us.
For sure, man. Yeah, have a good night.
You as well. All right, and our race winner in the Williams driver, we have Mr. Caganis. Welcome into the booth for, I believe, the second time this season. It's your second win this season. How are you feeling, man?
No, it wasn't second win.
Oh, second win?
Previously in Austria, I was on P3.
Oh.
And I would like to say you made a mistake at the start of the race, because actually I joined the league quite late, but I'm not the reserve driver.
Oh, I'm very sorry for both of those mistakes, but whatsoever, still a very great race from you. How are you feeling, man?
To be fair, I had horrible race start. I was whole shaking because I was struggling with join the lobby. So I uninstalled the game, downloaded it once again, and joined quali like 2 minutes before session ends.
Well, yeah.
So race start was pretty nervous for me, but after this, I was trying to calm down, and whole plan just runs away after incident with Christian, Aero, and NVA at the end of one of the laps, somewhere at first phase of the race. I decided you were wondering, so I answer for this. I decided to run for softs because I was expecting rain a bit earlier, like 5-6 laps before the race ends. So I was hoping for intermediate tire stint, but well, I was mistaken. But nothing happened at all, because at crucial point, Alpha behind me spans around that second chicane, so I had a clear line. All I had to do was defend against NVA, and on at this specific track, defending, if you know how to do this, is quite easy. So I was just focusing on defending, not on running away.
Yeah, so what we saw also was just everyone getting time penalties, except actually I think you were the only one without a time penalty at the end. So did you have any warnings, I was wondering, or just no?
Yes, I was signed lap 7 or 8. I was one warning from time penalty.
All right, well, you still did a great job tonight. I mean, congratulations on your win. Not your second win, but your first. That makes it even more special for you tonight. Great job, and thank you for having being in the booth tonight.
Thank you, and as I said before, thank you very much for great comms.
Yep. All right. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
All right, so the end of the Canadian Grand Prix in Division 4, a great way to kick it off this weekend, actually. I mean, with all that racing action in Division 4, maybe we can expect more from each three of our divisions tomorrow and on Sunday. So we have Division 3 on 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, and then we have Division 2 about 2 hours later than that. I believe that's 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for you. But then we have finally the Premier Division in the penultimate round, Division 1 at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, just shout out the drivers real quick. Great job to all of them, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night.